Hello everyone and happy Tuesday. You may have noticed that it's a little bit past 1:01. I am running a little bit behind schedule today only because I was able to connect with someone that I met at last week's live event, and I was so excited about the topic we were speaking on, and that is teaching kids and families what to do with the money that they're earning from the skills they learn with us. So in the future, I will let you know we're going to do an interview with Marissa, and she's going to walk us through what that looks like and how we can help our kids plan financially for the future. Okay, it is Tuesday. Hi, Wendy. I am so glad you are here. If we haven't already met yet, my name is Young Pratt, and I am the Chief Dreamer, author, and podcaster right here at Our Young Creators. And here at OYC, it is our passion to help kids learn skills that they can use to serve others and fund their own brighter futures. And Wendy and her kids are currently in our Becoming a Podcasting Family class, and I cannot wait to share with all of you what this lovely family is creating together. It's so good. I won't spoil any of the fun, and I'm going to keep it under wraps for now so I can bring them on and they can share with you what they are doing. Well, yesterday I started a series here for this week, recapping all of the speakers and my key takeaways from Stacy Tuschl's She's Building Her Empire live event last week. It was a phenomenal event, and the people who were there are these powerhouse women who are doing incredible things in their businesses, showing up in the world in a really big way, and serving thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. So definitely lots of great information, lots of connections being made, like Marissa, who I connected with earlier today, and yesterday Angie popped on my live, and we got to connect at the live event and then here on the live. Well, today I wanted to share with you the things that I've learned from Catherine Zenkina, who is also known as the Manifestation Babe. It was really interesting as she shared her story. I had never really heard of her before. Stacy had interviewed her and I heard her name, but I really didn't dive into what she had to offer before I got to the event because I wanted to show up without any expectation of what I wanted to take away from someone's discussion and what they wanted to share. I wanted to walk in and just be open to receiving the messages that they had to share with us. So the Manifestation Babe is all about helping women manifest things in their life that are in alignment with who they are. And one of the most interesting things that she shared is that the movie The Secret, and the law of attraction is something that lots of people talk about. But I know for me, when I watched it, I thought it was pretty neat that you could think about these things and what we thought about would kind of expand and grow. However, I thought there might be more that I was missing because I could ruminate on a certain thought, even if it was a positive thought, and it wouldn't necessarily turn out to be that way. What she shared, however, is that there are actually 12 universal laws, the law of attraction being one of them. I want to quickly just read through all the different laws because it was really fascinating as I thought back to all the different times I had tried to employ the tools and techniques from the movie The Secret, but there were so many other things at play that I didn't realize then, but I know now. Hi, Deb. It's so good to see you here. So I will post the link to this page that I'm going to share with you talking about the laws of the universe. I'm not going to go into detail about each one. I'm just going to read them to you so you are aware that they're there. Number 1, the law of divine oneness. Number 2, the law of vibration. Number 3, this is a big one, the law of action. Next we have the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction, which is the one most people focus on, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. It's a mouthful to say. The law of relativity, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, and the law of gender. So this was the first thing that really stuck out to me because, again, I had only ever heard about the law of attraction, not knowing that there were 11 other laws working at the same time in place that went together with the law of attraction, but I was only focusing on that one, so it's no wonder that I didn't understand why things were not happening the way I wanted them. So Catherine shared her story about, being broke, living on her parents' couch, and then literally a year and a half later going on to manifest this business for herself that has taken on a life of its own, and she's now a multi-6-figure, if not a 7-figure earner. And I just thought, wow, she was able to make that happen in a very short span of time. So of course, I wanted to know what the heck she was doing. I took copious notes because I definitely wanted to employ her strategies because they obviously were successful for her. And the thing we talked about a lot was this idea about beliefs, about what we believe we can achieve. On some days, though, it's a little harder to be in the mind state that that can happen, right? So she gave us this analogy about when you plant a seed in the soil, if you have 2 different seeds, the soil doesn't care what you planted. It's going to cultivate it and grow it into this beautiful plant for us to enjoy if we tend to it, if we water it, if we give it the proper nutrition, if we expose it to the right elements, meaning planting in the right season, this plant is going to grow. And you could literally grow the corn next to the tomatoes or the peas next to the jalapenos. The soil doesn't matter. It is just something that supports the growth. So when we think about ourselves, we don't tend to do that. Or at least I don't tend to do that. If I'm planting these seeds of positive thoughts and dreams and visions, I'm not always being a good steward because I'm not tending to those thoughts, making sure I'm feeding them with the proper information, surrounding myself with the right people, being in a tribe of people who are going to help me accelerate my vibration, plus help me reach my goals because they're like-minded and we're helping each other move our businesses forward. So I thought that was really interesting in the analogy of the soil doesn't care. It is irrelevant. So our mind works the same way. If we're planting seeds of doubt, if we're planting seeds of negativity, or we're taking that in from the outside, you better believe that negative gunk is polluting everything else that could be positive in our life. So if we're thinking about our lack of finances, we're thinking about our lack of clients, we're thinking about any sort of lack, what happens is that we see more and more of it. She talked about the RAS, the reticular activating system. And this is the filter of our brain that filters out information that is not pertinent at the time. For instance, after a while of sitting in a room, you may not notice the hum of the lights anymore, or you may not notice the breeze blowing through the room if the window's open after a bit of time, because your mind doesn't see that as being relevant to what you're doing now. So it was such an interesting thought that this filtration system is there. However, it is also distorting our reality. So she used the analogy of a car. If you go to purchase a car, you find the car you want. For us, we found our little Fiat. It's a cool, like, minty green color. All of a sudden, of course, when you buy this and drive it off the lot, you're driving through town. What do you see? You see so many more of those same cars, and then all of a sudden we start thinking, wow, I should have bought this other car because this car is so popular and it's all over the road. And our mind works the same way. When we are focusing on something, whether it's a goal or whether it's something a little more negative, the more we let that sink in, the more that we tend to that particular belief, the more of that thing we're going to get. So again, back to the idea of planting the seed and making sure that we're tending to the growth of the good things we are planting and not letting all the other stuff that is not serving us impact negatively that little seed of growth. So I have a lot of note cards here because I really wanted to share with you her 4-step formula for manifesting. And I would love for you to go on this manifesting journey with me. I know we're all at different places of believing these sorts of things we cannot necessarily prove. As a scientist, it took me a long time to think that this world of more woo-woo stuff was something that would work for me. But the more I dive into professional development, the more I attend conferences like this, the more often I listen to people like the Manifestation Babe, who obviously has the manifestation muscle fine-tuned if she's able to go from living on the couch at her parents' house to multi-six-figure earner in a year and a half, basically by changing the seeds she was planting in her own mind. So step number 1, create a vision. We need to be able to see it before we can create it. And that sounds backwards, I know. It's not like Kevin Costner in If You Build It, They Will Come. In fact, it is the exact opposite. We have to be able to have a vision for where we want ourselves to go in the future, whether that's in our business or with our families. There has to be a vision. We can't just walk through life hoping and wishing for certain things. We actually have to paint the picture and then work towards getting closer to that. Number 2, she really recommended mantras and affirmations about waking up in the morning, and she calls it soul food sessions, or being able to feed your soul on these positive messages. What we tell ourselves, we tend to be. Something else that she talked about is whatever you believe you identify as. If you identify as someone who is really good at XYZ, or someone who is not good at ABC, we tend to make that reality happen around us. So we have to take the mantras, or the things that were going in our head, the brain chatter, if you will, the things that come up, especially when we're doing something scary. The things like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I would do that. No one's going to buy this program. No one's going to do this. If we start ruminating on those things, that's what we're going to see as well. So we need to be able to take that negative thought process and flip it on its head so that it becomes a positive affirmation or a mantra we can say repeatedly throughout the day to ourselves to keep ourselves growing and tending those seeds we are planting. Number 3 was really interesting. She talked about scripting, about literally sitting down with your journal or on the computer and writing out what your ideal life would look like. Whether you're writing out a particular day or you're writing out about the end result. Where do you want to go right now? What is your vision for yourself? And scripting yourself in as the main character of that story. And that's such an interesting shift about thinking of yourself as a character in this movie and then showing up as the character would show up. And then number 4, the most important thing is that you have to step into the vision of yourself being at your goal. So if the goal is you want to be a 6-figure earner, the goal is you want to create more connection with your kid, whatever the goal is, all of our actions, all of our energy needs to be framed from that context. We have to be able to step into that vision and go from there. So those are her four steps to manifesting. And in the comments below, I would love to know how you are planting the seeds, but more importantly, how are you tending to those new goals? How are you tending your crops and helping them grow? Are you doing mantras? Do you say affirmations daily? What does your day look like that reinforces tending your garden, tending the seeds, growing the positivity versus dwelling on the negativity or lack? I would love to know what you do, because this is an area that I definitely struggle with right now, because it's not a habit yet. It's an idea that I have that I want to get better at, and kind of like going to the gym, definitely this manifestation muscle is something we need to work daily. And I would love to have you hold me accountable to practicing these 4 things every day, and then share with me how you tend those beautiful seeds that you are planting in your mind's eye. Okay, my friends, I'll be back again tomorrow, 101. I don't have any calls before 101 tomorrow, so I'll be back here again to share another takeaway from She's Building Her Empire Live. Cheers, my friends.